Desi and Lucy were just starting to have problems. And uh, the half hours were not nearly as difficult as the hour shows. Because we were doing a show once a week in front of an audience, and those they were getting along pretty well. You know, I mean, it wasn't what I'd call an idyllic marriage, but collaboratively as actors and as people who worked together, they were great. Because Lucy really listened to Desi. He was the one who she would work out a routine, and then Desi would look at it and she'd say, "What do you think?" And he could always be honest with him. She'd always listen to him. Vivian was just terrific to me. She really treated me nicely. Desi was, as I said, he had that really volatile personality, but everybody loved him because he'd apologize and he'd put his arm around you, and he was extremely smart. He's the one who built Desi Lou.
How was he able to handle, working on the show and running Desi Lou?
It was amazing. His office was across the hall from the stage, across the street from the stage. And you'd go over there and he'd be in big business meetings. This is after they bought RKO. He'd be in big business meetings of finance and whatever it was. And you knock on the door and you say, "We're ready, Desi," and he'd leave and he'd come back on the stage and immediately be right back in the script and remembering it and know things. He had that great ability to segregate different areas that he was working on. And what happened was, again, I remember I was standing with Lucy. I was standing there with Lucy when Desi walked up and said, "I just bought RKO Studios." And she said, in effect, "You stupid son of a bitch," and walked away. This was the studio they had both been fired from. And so it meant a lot to him. She just looked at it as an economic decision. We were taking this small company and buying a big studio. So it was, they were having a little troubles at the time.
Was Lucy involved at all with the business aspects?
No, it was all Desi. Lucy did basically the script every week. And she was amazing because almost every week she had to become an expert at something. One week she had to learn how to make pizza. And I remember she'd go out to this Italian restaurant, and in the window she'd stand there and throw pizza. By the end of the week, she could do it as well as anybody. She had to learn how to work the trampoline. Whatever the project was she was doing, she had to be an expert at it by the end of the week so she could relax and be comedic. And one of the most interesting experiences I had is when we did an hour show with Red Skelton. And there was a scene, and I can't remember what they're in a boxcar, and they're both hobos, as they called them in those days. And he is doing a pantomime of eating a meal, and she's supposed to do it exactly the way he did it. So she stopped him in rehearsal when he started, and he was a great pantomimist. And she said, "How do you do that?" He said, "I don't know, I just do it." She said, "No, you got to show me." He said, "Well, what do you mean?" She said, "Show me how you do it." So for about 2 or 3 hours, he tutored her. Well, you've got to feel that there's a glass there. You've got to feel the weight, and you bring it up to your lips, and you've got to pretend like you're swallowing the liquid. And she'd say, "Show me." And he'd do it, not quickly. He'd have to do it moment by moment by moment. Well, by the end of those 2 or 3 hours, whatever it was, she was as good as he was. But she was so technical. Everything was very thought out and appropriate to whatever she was doing. And the rest of the cast, the actors, the guest actors, had to do the same line readings to Lucy every time so she could get her timing. Somebody couldn't come in and ad lib or do it slightly different. It would throw her. She wanted to know she had to be very much in control of the comedy, then she could relax and be funny.